Game 9, and the Herd would like to thank the Academy, the military academy, Citadel in town with a wake-up call. The Dogs crossed the line first, and they were up 7-0. But guess who would show up again? Eric Kresser and Randy Moss hook up to tie it, 7 apiece.
Randy Moss for the 7-yard touchdown.
This game marked John Duncan's coming out party. The senior defensive end had played against Appalachian, but his first sack back showed everyone he was really back.
That made me feel like, okay, I'm back. I can play, because, you know, I had some doubts in my mind if I was going to be able to come back and play at the level that I wanted to play and play to help the team out. And I'll always remember that because, you know, as a defensive lineman, as a defensive end, our job is to get pressure on the quarterback. And in the Appalachian State game, I wasn't able to do a lot because I was still slowed down by my leg. But against the Citadel, I've got some of my speed back and some of my moves back, and I was able to get a sack, and I'll always remember that.
Second quarter, Marshall took over. Eric Thomas from 9 yards out. Then Randy Moss showed who's the boss with a 14-yard touchdown catch. Still just 21-16 at halftime. And Doug Chapman shows his stuff. 31 yards. The Herd starts to pull away. Then the Secretary of Marshall's defense, Larry McLeod, an interception, and the former high school running back showed old flashes of speed. Marshall up 35-19. And finally, Randy Moss adds his 4th touchdown catch of the afternoon. A ho-hum 56-25 win over the Citadel. Let the big dogs run. Game 10, Marshall had to answer the question, was East Tennessee State a contender or pretender to the conference crown? Both teams 6-0 in the Southern Conference, and in the first half, Marshall's defense stood tall. Then the Herd and the Buccaneers exchanged field goals. After that, an Eric Thomas 3-yard touchdown run gave Marshall a 7-point lead. You want more defensive inspiration? Ask Southern Conference Freshman of the Year Brandon Walker. He found himself looking at the mini-dome ceiling much of the afternoon. And Marshall took a 10-3 lead into the locker room. The halftime pep talk must have been invigorating. 5 plays into the third, Eric Kresser and Gerald Long with the perfect execution on the screen pass. 34 yards, and Marshall led 17-3. All eyes would then turn to the trenches. Marshall's offensive line bullied the Buccaneers, and the Herd blew it open with an 11-yard Doug Chapman touchdown run. 24-3 now. The Bucs would drive it back, and then the Bucs stop here. Rogers Beckett on the pickoff at the Herd 22. Time to finish it off. After a Tim Openlander field goal, someone reminded Randy Moss that he'd need a touchdown catch to tie Jerry Rice with at least 1 in 10 straight games. 72 yards later, Moss obliged. Marshall's defense stifled Buck quarterback Greg Ryan all day, and East Tennessee State joined the list of the vanquished. The Herd wins at 34-10. Marshall starting to look scary.
Hey, how you doing? We're number 1, Bubba. All right.
We lost some big players, and when we lost Will Edwards and John Duncan, and those two meant a lot to our defensive unit. And I mean, we really didn't start gelling to the end of the season. And I think around the end of the season when we were played Furman there at the end, played East Tennessee State, I think East Tennessee State game, you could start seeing us make a big turn as a football team.
Game 11, everything on the line. A perfect regular season, a Southern Conference championship, and across the field, the purple and white of Furman. No team owned Marshall in the early days like the Paladins did, and revenge would be sweet. The Paladins weren't quite so cooperative early. Quarterback Braniff Bonaventure, a Marshall recruit in high school, hit receiver Jody Wade for the 10-yard touchdown, and it's tied at 7. Then the Paladins get a 1-yard plunge, and they lead it 14-7. Eric Kresser and Randy Moss do their thing, and Moss all of a sudden has surpassed greatness. 11 straight games with a touchdown catch. He breaks Jerry Rice's record. Still, Furman went to the locker room with a 17-14 lead. They thought some trash talking was necessary on their way in.
From the halftime of Furman, in the regular season on, we played extremely well in great football. So I think at that point in time, from the halftime of the first Furman game on, we played about as good as we could play.
Then we arrive at what might be the biggest defensive play of the year. Braniff Bonaventure back to pass. Jermaine Swafford says not so fast. From the 33-yard line, he takes it all the way in. Marshall leads it 21-17.
When we came back out the third quarter, I think it was like the second or third play, we were all focused and ready. We came back out, and ball comes up, see a guy come across my face. It was a little inside screen, and it was a little over his head. He tips it up, and I see the ball up in the air, and I'm like, this is mine. I take it, and I look to my left, and I don't see anything, and I just, just run the daylight. So luckily I made it in the end zone.
Still in the third, Marshall will not be denied. Kresser to Eric Thomas, 15 yards out, and it's 28-17. And then in the fourth, Marshall smells blood. Doug Chapman with 2 touchdown runs. Everything's just perfect. Perfect 11-0 season, perfect in the conference, perfect ending. A premature goodbye, perhaps, to the seniors on November 16th. The last regular season game meant time for a tribute. But everybody in the stadium knew those same seniors would come out of this tunnel again.